Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest Carson's Take 5 with Ryan and Sonu. Sonu, I'm coming from Denver, Colorado. You kind of see behind there. It's
Right.
it's not quite as hot
It
here.
looks
What's the
nice and
weather?
sunny there.
It's nice. It's like 80s. I mean, what is it in Chicago? I know it's hot everywhere right now.
It's about 75 to 80 degrees. We had 90-degree weather over the last 2 days. We're recording this on August 28th, which is a Wednesday. So when I say last 2 days, I meant Monday and Tuesday here in Chicago. But hey, I'm going to see Pearl Jam tomorrow in Wrigley Field, so I'm excited about that. Hopefully we have good weather there.
Well, hopefully you have good weather. There are 2 nights, right? You going both nights or just one?
Just one. Well, I was supposed to go both nights, but our babysitter canceled on us for the Saturday night show. So, and
I'll
we
fly
haven't
in.
been
You want
able
me to
to find
fly
somebody
in?
else.
I'll come watch your kids. Pay me enough. I'll be there. I mean, help that economy. All right. Well, let's that's awesome. Have fun. Well, let's get into it. So again, remember last week's video, everyone, we called it some good news. We pointed out some good news. Well, this week there's more good news, Sonu. Today we've titled this video, Rate Cuts Are Coming. Because the Fed last week, Jerome Powell laid, wide opened the door for rate cuts. That's the Jackson Hole Symposium. You know, we could talk about this for an hour. Let's try to talk about it in like 30 seconds. What did he say at the Jackson Hole Symposium last Friday?
He basically set the stage for interest rate cuts.
There we go.
And he was emphatic in saying the direction of monetary policy going forward is clear. The time has come to adjust rates, right? Because look, the Fed manages two things, or they're supposed to manage two things. The risk of inflation being too high, they want to maintain low and stable prices, and versus the risk of unemployment rising. They want to maintain what they call, or what they think of as maximum employment, right? And what have we seen recently? You and I have talked about the inflation problem being over. We've talked about that for several months now. And I think the Fed has finally come to the same place that where we were, dare I say, weeks and months ago. But now the unemployment rate has been rising, right? The unemployment rate is at 4.3%. There are clearly risks there. I think amongst the most important things Powell said is we do not welcome further cooling in labor market conditions, and we will do everything we can to support a strong labor market. So basically, they have the back of the labor market of employment. And I think that's a good thing. The time has come to adjust, like Powell said, and they're going to start cutting rates.
No, it's definitely good things. We've been talking for a while that inflation wasn't the problem that it once was. The Fed was obviously very worried about inflation. I was more worried about the labor market. But you think about it, why does that matter, right? Well, if interest rates are higher, I mean, there are some pluses. There's $6 trillion in money markets. So a lot of people are getting high interest on that. At the same time, we look at the housing market, which has had a lot of problems because, again, you want to get a house, it's expensive. Oh, by the way, here's a 6.5–7% mortgage. Well, that's hurting a lot of people. You get that lower if the Fed starts to cut. That's a plus for housing, but also small businesses. Small businesses make up 55% of all the people employed in the United States. Small businesses matter. And Sonu, higher interest rates do not help small businesses necessarily. A little bit lower makes it easier for them to get financing, to do things, to grow, and honestly, hire and pay better employees. Those are two big positives. But I want to point out something here. On last Friday, when the Fed had the Jackson Hole Symposium, the market, whatever he said, the market loved it. We saw a huge rally with very broad-based strength. I'll keep this kind of simple. We had a 90% of all the stocks are up, and 90% of all the volume was up last Friday. That's extremely rare. Like, you got to go back to the bear market of October 22, the last time we saw something like that. So usually it's really strong results out. It's, what the market say? Market loved what Powell had to say last Friday.
No, exactly. And I think, look, interest rates, you could, as you pointed out, right? For almost a decade, people didn't get anything in their savings accounts, and now we're getting, anywhere between 5% and 6%, right? That's a big deal. But I think housing activity suffers, right? And higher interest rates versus push mortgage rates higher. That could be the difference. If rates come down, that could be the difference between the economy growing at 1.5–2% versus around 2.5%, right? That's a big difference. And that matters for jobs and for continuing growth. And you mentioned small businesses and business in general. We've talked about the productivity story, right? What do you need for productivity? You need investment. Right now, investment has sort of plateaued. It's
Right.
flatlined. I think we need a boost from the interest rate side to make sure investment continues and we get into that positive feedback loop of economic growth, productivity growth, investment growth, strong labor market conditions, and all of that.
Well said there. Let's put a cherry on top here. Last week we mentioned some good things. This week, now we're talking about interest rate cuts are coming. Earlier this week, the Dow Jones Industrial Average hit an all-time high. Okay, been around since 1896, all-time high. Now the S&P is not quite there, Nasdaq's not quite there. Nonetheless, we've seen a lot of bad news out there, but stocks have overall done quite well, and we still see a lot more positive negatives out there. And we'll keep talking about them every single week in the Carson's Take 5. Sonu, this was fun. I'm enjoying my time in Denver. Enjoy your time with Pearl Jam. Sing, let's see here, Jeremy and Black and Ledbetter. What's the one, Ledbetter? What's that song? Yellow Ledbetter, right? Yellow Ledbetter.
Yellow Ledbetter.
There we go. Well, yeah, get ready to sing some. So, everybody, we'll see you next week at the Carson's Take 5. Thank you.